Alright, today we're going to go over how to remember the 6 trig derivatives. We're going to give you a few memory tricks to try and remember them. The first one is sine. So the derivative of sine, you're going to think of sine as sin, and sin's bad. So let's say your mom tells you not to eat a cookie out of the cookie jar, but you do it anyway. You're going to get time out. So that sin is going to cost you. And cost is exactly what we're going for here. So that sin is going to cost you. So that's going to equal cosine u. So cost, there's the cosine. And remember how we got that from. You wanted that cookie in that cookie jar. And that's a sin to take that because your mom told you not to. And that's how we get cosine out of that. Alright, the next derivative we're going to be looking at is that of cosine. So for cosine, the first thing we're going to talk about though is for each trig derivative, all 6 of them, if it starts with a c, first thing you're going to put down is a negative sign. So whether that's cosine, cosecant, cotangent, if it starts with a c, right there, it's going to have a negative sign. It's the first thing you're going to put down. Alright, so the derivative of cosine, you're going to think of there's a good cause. And that cause, you're going to make you think of cosine. But the thing is, you didn't donate to it. And that's a sin. And that sin is where you're going to remember to put sine for your cosine's derivative. So it's a good cause, that's going to make you think of cosine, but you didn't donate to it, and that's a sin because you easily donated to that. And so that's where you got that sign from. And remember, the negative, if it starts with a c, first thing you want to put down is that negative sign. And that's how you remember the derivative of cosine. Alright, the next derivative we're going to be looking at is that of tangent. So tangent, you're going to think of, you're going to get a tan. But first, you got to remember there's 2 secrets to tan. So, you're going to get a tan, right? And you're all in here, you're like, yeah, I'm going to get your goggles on. You're like, yeah, I'm going to tan. There's a sun. But then you remember, oh shoot, there's 2 secrets. There's 2 of them. And we're going to go for secant out of that. So you got 2 secrets, you're going to get secant squared u. So the tangent u's derivative is secant squared u. You remember that? You're going to tan, but you got to remember there's 2 secrets to it. So the derivative of tangent is secant squared u. Alright, now we're going to be looking at the derivative of secant. Secant, you're going to think of someone who's sickly and pale, and they need a tan really bad. So secant, sickly, pale, go and find a buddy tan to get a tan. So secant wants to get a tan. So he's bringing along his buddy tan, and they're both going to, because they do things together. They're friends, you know. So secant just going to go along with his buddy tan. Hey, that's the way to remember secant, that derivative, secant tan. Alright, now we're going to look at the derivative of cotangent. Cotangent, you're going to think of you and your friend are out sleeping on cots. Okay, so you and your friend out sleeping on cots. But you know cots are pretty uncomfortable, so you both can't sleep. So, both can't sleep. You're going to think can't sleep. It's going to remind you of cosecant. And since you both, that's the key word, both can't sleep, you're going to go cosecant squared. So think of that. So you're going to get cosecant squared u du over dx. Okay, but there's one more part to this. If you remember, it starts with a c, you're going to put a negative first. Alright, for the 6th and final trig derivative, we're looking at the derivative of cosecant. For cosecant, we're going to play off of can't sleep. So you're going to think of can't sleep. Cosecant, think of can't sleep. And you know why you can't sleep? Too cold. Way too cold. So what you got to do about that? You're going to get a coat. So you're going to get a nice, big, warm coat. And you remember, can't sleep. You can't sleep, so you get a coat. So cosecants can't sleep. Just add a coat on there. Got to slide some u's in there because it's cosecant u, cotangent u. And then the one last thing, as usual, if it starts with a c, you got to put a negative in there. So the derivative of cosecant u is negative cosecant u cotangent u du over dx. And that's how you can remember the 6 trig derivatives. Those little memory tricks, hopefully they help you out.